Happy Tips and Tea Tuesday, Cebu.
Good morning, Queen. Happy Tips and Tea Tuesday to you. How are you doing this morning?
Girl, are we awake? Are we really here? Or is this a dream?
You said, are we really awake? Oh, Lord. Yes, we are really awake. We are really awake.
I'm trying to figure it out.
Thank God I'm able to be here with you this morning.
Same, Queen. Thanking God that we are here. I'm here with you and we're doing this live.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I feel like we need a backup for the backup because this week was a struggle and it's only Tuesday.
Queen. It's only Tuesday, but we're going to make it through this week and we're going to persevere and do the thing.
Yes, yes. Well, let's see. It's already 8:04. Should we just dive into things? Because I know we be having quite a few things going on, and I don't want to hold up the show.
Don't want to hold up the show. I mean, like you always say, Queen's got things to do.
I do say that, don't I? Well, good morning, everybody. Just want to thank those who are already up and watching us on the live this morning. We already have two people popping on. Just thank you for joining us on Tips and Tea. We try to come in and try to just share some past experiences that we've gone through, our financial journeys, um, faith, how it's gotten us here, and just how we try to love on our families all along the way. So, you know, hoping that our tips and what we share about our life experience is helping someone else maybe not have to struggle as much as well. So,
Yes.
good morning, Carmen. Good morning. How are you, Queen?
Good morning, Carmen. Happy Tips and Tea Tuesday, Queen.
Happy Tips and Tea Tuesday.
Good
Where
morning. Good
your people
morning.
at, Carmen? How was your
I'm sorry.
evening, Queen? Carmen has been traveling. Carmen has been on the move.
Yes, she has. Carmen, she's doing her thing. I'm not mad at her.
Hmm.
International entrepreneur queen.
Yes, she is. Speaking of traveling, Miss Cebu was out of town last week too. How was your trip to North Carolina, Queen?
It was good. It was nice. I was able to make it safely. I did have a little bout with sickness, so I did have to go to the hospital. But I was able to see my friend Serena. That was the whole point of going to North Carolina, and able to visit my aunt. So I was able to get those things accomplished. just had a little monkey wrench in the plan, but to God be the glory. I'm good, feeling better on the mend. So just thankful for that.
Amen to that. Yeah, we definitely was praying over you last week. So I was like, my sea boot not here. I was all destitute and distraught. I was like, y'all gonna have to carry me through this live because I don't know what I'm doing over here.
Honey, and you did it with grace and poise like you always do, and the queen that you are, okay?
Okay, we gonna say that. we gonna claim that. I appreciate you. We gonna claim that, but it looked like something different last Tuesday.
Well, honey, you did awesome and amazing as usual.
Thank you, Queen. Good morning, Miss Harriet. Thank you for jumping on the live this morning, Queen. Good to see you.
Good morning, good morning. Welcome in, welcome in.
All right, well, I'm gonna get back to it because we were jumping into the live because like C said, the Queen's got things to do. So I just want to say good morning again to everybody and just welcome into Tips and Tea, where again we spill the tea, we talk faith, we talk family, finances, and holding up your queendom or your kingdom. So I'm Shantola for those who may not know me, and I'm joined by amazing, beautiful co-host, Mr. Teacher Booker. She's back in the building. Everybody, please drop some hearts in the chat for Cebu for her return to Tips and Tea.
Yes, yes, yes. We are definitely so excited that you are here with us. So grab your favorite cup of tea or coffee because today's conversation is one that every queen needs to hear.
Absolutely. And then if you're joining us live, can you please make sure you just like, share, or tag another queen that you feel might, that want to hear some of the things that we're talking about today? Because today's topic, we
Yes.
deep, everybody. We definitely diving in deep. But please drop where you're from in the chat as well. You know,
Yes, we want to know where you're tuning in from, where our tips are
tuning in from
landing.
everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Well, see, let me ask you this, and I can also ask the audience as well. We're gonna
Okay.
have some fun this morning. So if you can invite any three people, living or deceased, to lunch or brunch, whatever your preference is, who would be sitting at your table? Right?
Just three people?
Just three.
Okay, if it was just three people, I would have to say my choice would be my father, who is deceased, and my two sons. They never got a chance to meet my father, and my father would have loved to meet my children. I was an only child, and I'm sure he would have loved to have a son because I did have a brother that passed away. So I think it would
Mhm.
have been awesome and amazing for them to be able to sit down at the table together. And that's legacy. So that would be awesome. How about you,
That
Queen? Who
is.
would your three people be?
I don't know if I can pick just three because it'd be so many. All them people running around in my head.
You put people running around in your head.
Y'all excuse me, I had coffee this morning. I was like mulling over this question for a while the other day, and I was like, part of
Mhm.
me want to be like me, myself, and I, because I need to sit down and have a conversation with me, myself, and I, and really figure out this thing that we're calling life. But also, I think I would just want to, loved ones that's passed away, just
Mhm.
my grandma, my daughter was a baby when she passed, and she was like one of the leaders in our family who just, covered us in prayer, right? She really was, she ran a church. She brought up my aunties and my dad in the church, and they all became deacons and pastors and preachers themselves, just to be able for her to meet my daughter and just, really see the overall matriarch of our family. But I always wanted to do like a family photo shoot with like all the women in my family,
Mm.
to get together. So definitely, definitely something like that. But just checking in with the chat as well too. Ladies, we have Carmen and Miss Harriet in the chat. Who would you
We got
invite to your brunch
Chicago,
lunch table?
Ohio.
Yup, Chicago, Ohio as well. But I guess so one of the real questions I would say is, who's actually sitting at your table every day, right? Who are
Mm.
you currently surrounding yourself with? because those people are really helping shape your future. We might not think people will have an influence on our lives and we only take certain things in, but honestly, you know, subconsciously, we get filled with so many things and we're doing things not even knowing that things are happening. So
Right.
we have Miss Harry. She says, I'm a historical buff, so I would say Ida B. Wells, Harriet Tubman, and my great grandmother. I miss talking to her about our
Wow.
family history. That's beautiful, Queen. Absolutely.
Yes, yes. And well thought out.
Yes. Thank you for sharing, Queen. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. So, who's sitting at your table today? How are they impacting your lives? Are you all coming together to really help each other grow?
Hmm.
Take a look around in your circle. Are they emotionally growing or they're emotionally stunted right now?
Right.
These are some things we can definitely ask ourselves because usually you think about, you know, how is your currency adding up?
Hmm.
Is your network your currency? I think so. Teacher, what shirt you have on today?
They not like us.
See how she just subconsciously moved and she put on a shirt that said they not like us, get you around a circle that is contributing to your currency, right? We think
Mhm.
this currency is money, but relationships are one of the greatest forms of wealth. You know,
Yes.
just something to kind of wrap your mind around. So, how is your circle influencing your decisions? You know, are you all talking about the future? Are you building and working towards something? Every relationship costs something,
So
whether it's
true.
your time, your attention, your money, your resources, some type of currency is being exchanged for these relationships that you're keeping around you. Is it wrecking you emotionally to stay around certain people? Are you not moving forward because you continue to keep being stuck because you're trying to help other people and they're stuck as well? Sometimes somebody have you stuck right there with you and you don't even realize it. So every person at your table is either making deposits or they're making withdrawals. It might be time to do an audit in your life and see how much is being taken out. So definitely want to go over Proverbs 13:20, where it says, walk with the wise and become wise. For a companion of fools suffers them.
Mm. Walk
Fool.
with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. That is so true. Mm. Proverbs 13:20.
Yes, yes. So, Sibu, have you ever realized you needed to change your circle in order to grow?
Of course,
What
Queen.
that's what that
Yes.
season for you?
I've had that feeling several times in my life. One that really sticks out, just thinking, um, is my move to North Carolina when I decided to move from West Virginia to North Carolina. I lived in West Virginia all my life, and I just felt like I was in a job that wasn't going anywhere. I have friends, but the majority of my really good friends, they don't live in West Virginia. So it was just a choice that I made to leave West Virginia, a choice I definitely do not regret because it opened my mind to different possibilities. West Virginia is not really very progressive, I mean,
Mm,
well, let me back that up. It was just nice to see a lot of people that look like me that were doing well. We'll
right.
say that. And that move helped me to have the job that I have now, helped me to start the business that I have now, and helped me, I don't think I would have been able to have those things if I stayed in West Virginia. So sometimes we do have to separate ourselves in order to grow. And separation is not always a bad thing. But sometimes we do need to make those hard decisions. And if you do have to make a decision where you feel like you're moving away from something or, leaving someone behind, It's more so of you doing what you need to do for you. You're not leaving anybody behind. So you shouldn't feel guilty for that. Because at the end of the day, we only have one life and we have to live our life to the best of our ability. And sometimes surrounding yourself with different people, with different perspectives, it'll change your mindset and change the way you think and the way you feel about yourself. How about you, Queen?
That's true. I totally agree with you. You know, especially if you feel like you're stunted, right? If you're just kind of in limbo. Sometimes we just be going through the motions of life,
Yes.
right? And nothing's happening, and we're trying to figure things out. And sometimes it's not only just you; it's the people around you as well. And in order for us to be able to grow and see something different, we have to get around something different, like you said.
Hmm.
So I don't even look at it like if you have to step outside of your immediate circle to try to do a whole reevaluation of your life to see how else can you improve yourself to be, who God is calling you to be. I
Hmm.
don't look at it as like you're trying to leave people behind. It's that you're being called to do something different. So then now
Yes.
you can go back and show them something different because everybody can't be stuck in the same situation. Everybody can't just stay there and not want to move forward. Someone has to take the lead. Somebody has to do it. And so if I'm going to choose to take that lead, then when I'm ready and I'm prepared, now I can go back and help other people
Right.
grow as well. Now, everybody not going to be able to come with you.
That's true. That's true. I mean, even though we would like for everybody to come with us, but that is just one of the hard truths of life. Everybody is not going to be able to go with us.
Yeah, because they just might not be ready for it. They're not in their season to be called to do something different. And the thing is, you can't get mad at them for it just because now you're ready, and you get mad because they're not. That's not how life works. We
Right.
all have our different timing in life where something is different is happening in us and for us. It's just not their time yet. So I can't get mad at someone else because they're not ready when I'm ready. Right.
Yes.
I'll tell you this though, whenever they are ready to come out of that season of being stuck, I'll be right here with them to celebrate, to help
Of
them in any
course.
way I can to continue to grow. Because as
Of
long as we live,
course.
we got to continue to learn, grow, serve, everything. Oh, good morning. Good morning. The queens are popping into the chat. Good morning, Deja. Good morning, Carmen.
Good morning.
Good
Good morning,
morning.
Queens. Good
Good
morning. Good
morning,
morning.
Nay. Happy belated birthday, Miss Nate Taylor. She just recently celebrated a birthday.
Yes, she did. Happy birthday, Queen.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, Tino. I see you in the chat. Yes, Miss Monica Brown is watching. Thank you for tuning in, everybody.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome in, everybody.
Yes, so this
Grand
morning we're talking
Risings.
about your circle is your currency and who's sitting at your table. This is one of the topics for today. If you all can drop in the chat, we asked a little question this morning.
Oh, yeah.
If you had three people, dead or alive, any three people, who would you invite to sit at your lunch table with you? Who would you want to have a seat at your table? So for those who's just joining us, if you want to drop that in the chats, go ahead. All right, all right. Good morning. Yes, happy birthday, Nate Taylor. Yeah, I know she didn't think she was gonna get away with having a birthday. She went MIA last week because she was like, she was celebrating her birthday.
She had to do that birthday thing.
We was gonna catch up with you anyway. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, so see, what's one quality someone should have before they earn a seat at your table?
One quality that someone should have before they earn a seat at my table.
Yes.
Um, I would say that one quality would definitely have to be faith. Um, and then just someone that's wanting more. You know what I mean? And someone that's loyal.
Mm-hmm.
Loyalty is very important to me. What about you, Queen?
I definitely can say the same thing. Definitely faith. I want people at my table who are committed to becoming who God has called them to be,
Yes.
who aren't afraid to challenge me to grow as well. I also need that in my
Hmm.
circle. Somebody's not happy with me just staying still,
Right, right.
right? Me just being stuck in the same place. So, I look for, men and women in my life that's gonna continue to help me, push me to do things that, you know, I might not necessarily want to do, but they see
Hmm.
the good it could be for me before I even see it for myself. And I think that's why me and Aziz get along so well because, you know, he does this with everybody. Like he knows the potential that people have, and he calls it out. Right? He gonna speak the truth on it, and he does the same thing for me. Y'all think y'all the team in the chat, y'all think y'all get it bad. He be on me too, y'all. I do not get an exemption card at all. And he already know he been with me for a very long time. It's been over 20 years, that we've been together. I think we're closer to 30 together than anything
Hmm.
else. So he knows when, I'm hiding, right? Or I'm avoiding certain things. So, you know, he'll drop them little clues, Bob's like, okay, wife.
What you doing over there?
Whatever you want to do. Yeah, he know how to call me out. He know how to call me out. And then definitely, I like to be around people who are consistent as well too. That they hold themselves accountable and then they're showing up, and they're having some excitement about them as well, about what they have going on in their lives. I know we can't be excited all the time, but
Hmm.
man, you got to have some type of joy. I don't really want to walk
Yes.
around people whose faces hanging low all the time.
No, 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 no. You do want to be around some people that are excited. I love that about you and Aziz, how like you
Mhm.
said, he wants you to put your best foot forward. You guys challenge each other. You definitely do want people in your circle that are going to challenge you, want you to put your best foot forward. And like you said, faith is definitely important too. So we definitely want people in our circle that's going to pray for us and oversee for us, or excuse me, intercede for us. So those are definitely some very valid points and important things. And for our audience, tag somebody that's helped you become a better version of yourself. Um, Shoot, I would tag you, Shantella, for helping me become a better version of myself. So, you know,
Hey,
we all
man.
have good friends and family and people that have come in our lives, but, sometimes connections are very important as far as, letting you see what's possible for you. So I love the what we have here, with Tips and Tea with our team, because it's a lot of just the culture is just awesome. A lot of people, everybody wants to see you win. There's never a bad question. You're always There's always an answer. That somebody's always willing to give you an answer. Somebody's always willing to help. Those are the kind of people that you want in your circle. You know, I mean, that's how I feel. What about you, Shantella?
Absolutely. I love our team and how we all come together and we pour into each other. It doesn't matter, who's where, if someone's just getting started. Because we were talking about this last night on the call, how,
Hmm.
you're in certain companies and unless you're a certain title, people don't even interact with you. They don't really talk to you. Right. And it's not like that here. We literally want to see everyone win and not just our team, but, we're part of the goal getters, the No Bay as an overall company. I would say, has that mentality where they just really want to help people to grow, and then be able to teach people so then they can also come back and serve and teach others as well. It has to be a continuing cycle there where we keep pulling each other up and continue to help people because we don't want it to freeze at some point and stop because then our community ceases to exist. Our community starts to fall apart, right?
Hmm.
So we want to be able to do better. And how do we do that? We have to be able to ourselves learn and grow and then be able to help other people do the same thing. So You know, I definitely appreciate what's going on here. Our chief operating officer just had a mentorship call the other day. I only caught part of it because I had the time wrong, so I only was able to catch a part of the conversation that she was having. But she really touched on some really great things, and I just love that's what's in our leadership, right? You know, they take it back to God first,
Hmm.
and then help people to really understand, you know, what to do, how to react to it. Because I think sometimes we need to be able to have honest conversations and not get offended. Everything is
Yes.
not an attack. It can literally just be a conversation. You know, you might not want to receive what someone is telling you, but it's something that they need to express, right? You don't necessarily have to take it in, but at the same time, it might be some type of truth to it. It might be their truth, but it might be some type of truth to it. So, I have conversations with people all the time and I don't get offended. I'm like, okay, I'm happy you feel that way, but I don't have to receive the energy that you putting out towards me. Right. I
Mm.
literally had a conversation with a friend this past week. I was doing a lot of traveling
Uh-huh.
and this friend, like everyone in our lives, we all go through hardships and things happen. But, she was grieving
Mhm.
and just some different things were happening and didn't even realize how she was grieving was coming out as anger and microaggressions throughout the whole weekend. And, she talked to me about some things that she saw in me, and I talked to her about some things that I saw in her. And I was just like, Fran, I'm worried about your health because you're so angry. I don't want you to have a stroke. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But we had this conversation and, you know, we didn't get mad at each other afterwards. We were like, well, I don't want to talk to you no more. I'm not blocking her. She's not blocking me. We had another conversation 2 days after that. So just to be able, as grown women and grown men, to be able to have honest conversations without wanting to fight somebody.
That
Because
part.
we just want to see, as my friend, well, this is what I'm seeing. How can I help you? How can I show up better for you as my friend? And then vice versa. Right. But it's also how you come to someone and talk to them. If you coming at them and attacking them, that's a whole nother story. I'm surprised you didn't get punched in the face sooner.
Yes, ma'am. It is about that delivery, how you talk to people, your tone, different things like that. That definitely makes a difference in the words you use, because there are soft words and hard words.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I definitely say, be able to get around some people who, even though they're going through a season in their life, they're not letting that stop them. Right.
Yes.
Everybody goes through a hard season. So choose people who want to celebrate you, who are about elevation and not just survival.
Yes, ma'am.
I know there was a season where I was in survival mode. I was literally going through the motions.
Yes.
I was trying to make it from day to day. And for a very long time, I was stuck in that until I was woken up. And I realized I couldn't stay in that. It just because it wasn't for me. And I was extremely uncomfortable. I got to the point where I got so sick with just being stuck in that survival
Mhm.
mode that I had to get pulled out of it.
Um,
And shout out to the Queens in Prayer because they were definitely instrumental in helping me, navigate that season that I was in, where I was trying to break out of survival mode and I was doing the work, right? Going back to church, praying more, talking to God, getting in my Bible, going to counseling, being a part of the community of Queens who pray.
mhm.
What about you, C?
I definitely agree with you. I think it's very important to, have a community. Like you mentioned, Queens in Prayer. I have a community that I have with another group of friends, Women of God. Um, and then I have a family group that I'm in. And it's good when you are able to have a positive flow of affirmations or information that's coming through. Because a lot of times, we deal with a lot of negative things. Life can be negative, work can be negative, and sometimes just having those different groups, a morning prayer group or a friend group that is checking in with you daily or sending you positive affirmations or Bible verses, scriptures, different things like that can definitely make a difference because you know what we surround ourselves with is kind of what comes out of us. So, putting positive things in, listening to sermons, doing different or excuse me, family activities or, friend groups, positive things. I would say that those are definitely things that you want to make sure that you are, bringing into your life with your friends and making sure that everyone that's in your life is positive, is bringing in something. Because, like Chantel mentioned earlier, currency, either they're bringing something, they're depositing, or they're taking away. So, you want to make sure that you've got the positive energy, the faithful energy coming in because life is hard. And we need that coming in. So you need to make sure that you're surrounding yourself with people that are going to do that. I'm thankful that I have the Queens in Prayer, Women of God, and my cousin, my family group. Those are some things that help me get through my day. Um, and sometimes we have to cut out negative things that we watch on TV as well too, because that makes a difference. That makes a difference.
Yeah, that's a part of
Keep
your currency
positive
too.
things going on. Yes,
You watch
and
it. I
we're
can't
talking
watch
about
Beauty in the
adding
Black.
people.
I can't watch it.
No, no, no. Sometimes that stuff, well, you watch it and you're like, what is going on here? Why, like, the things that they show on TV now is crazy. But I don't
Wow.
know. I feel like I got off track a little bit. But we're talking about how we're wanting to add to our
Lots of
table, add
people.
to our circle with positive things, good things. So, Shantella, what would you say? How do you know when you've outgrown a friendship or without carrying guilt?
Ah, without carrying guilt, I don't know. I
Yeah,
just feel
because I
like,
know sometimes you, it's not necessarily that you leave, not necessarily leaving people behind or you feel like you're outgrowing somebody, but maybe you're just not into the same things anymore or you're just trying to do something different. But how do you leave that friendship or just separate it without feeling guilty?
I don't know. I always feel like, sometimes with my relationships, they don't grow in the same direction. We're on two different paths at different parts of our lives. Like I had a childhood friend who, we went to junior high together, high school, we even went to college together. And then at one point, I got married and had a baby, and she was still single. So for a while, we were moving in two different directions. We were still friends, but we didn't communicate as much because she was in a different part of her life and I was in a different part of mine. I had other responsibilities than she did. And I think there
Hmm.
was at one point, like, and I don't want to say animosity, but some type of feelings there about how we used to be and how we were currently. But
Hmm.
until she was able to then become a mother and become a wife, she couldn't understand, right, where I was and how my time looked different, how me as
Hmm.
a person was growing different until she came into that season. And then when that happened for her, we had another conversation, and we talked it through, about how she felt. And then she was like, I didn't realize it until i I had to go through it myself. I didn't really understand. So I tend to give people time, right, to kind of navigate through those different seasons that we might be growing in separate directions. There's people in my life where they was going through some very toxic times, and I couldn't be around it because I no longer wanted to drink, right? And I just need to be able to eliminate distractions for myself. And drinking alcohol for me was causing me not to deal with the issues that I needed to face, right? It might not be that way for somebody else. Maybe drinking doesn't distract them. Drinking is just, a nice social thing that they do. But for me, it was a distraction. So I had to cut that out and literally just had to have a real conversation with people saying, I can't go out to the clubs and bars. I can't go to happy hour right now because in this season right now, I'm trying to heal from certain things and that is taken away from what I need to
Mhm.
focus on. I feel like the real ones are going to understand that and we'll be able to come back
Yes.
together, But so I think for me, it's just accepting that initially people might
Mhm.
not understand where I'm at or what I need, or I might not understand where someone else is at, but still just giving it time, with enough time
Right.
and being empathetic and giving people grace, really, we can work through conflict, right? I don't hold grudges. I see what it is for what it is, and then I move on from it. Like, I don't stay mad at anybody, because the only thing that's hurting is me, honestly. I don't want to hold that in my heart. You know, Holding grudges creates selfishness, it creates animosity, just toxic things that, get locked up in you and it causes other ailments. So I try to avoid things like that. I give it to God and I keep on moving.
And sometimes, Queen, that's all we can do. But I like the fact that, you mentioned that your friend, she kind of came back around once she, had her child and got married, because then she could kind of understand where you were coming from. So
Mhm.
sometimes, something as simple as someone actually going through what you're going through, for them to understand, will change their perspective. But I think it's awesome that were welcoming her back with open arms. And it's good that you don't hold grudges with people, because like you said, that definitely does hurt you. And I think sometimes in life, you know, we have to stop shrinking so that everyone else can stay comfortable. A
Mhm.
lot of times we dim our light because we don't want people to think that we've changed. But with growth, we are supposed to look different. We're supposed to be
Yeah.
different. Queens don't apologize for becoming who God created them to be. We just, your growth is possible, and we don't want to limit anything.
Mhm. Yeah.
And if your growth makes someone uncomfortable, then, you just got to keep growing. You got to keep growing. Eventually they'll come around. But, we can't let people hold us back when we need to push forward.
Okay. Don't let them hold you back.
So, Chantello, what would you, I'm sorry, Queen, what'd you say?
I said, yeah, don't let them hold you back. Because sometimes I feel like we confuse. So guilt sometimes comes from confusing gratitude with obligation. Like we feel like this
Mm.
person has been a part of my life for so long, and there were some very hard seasons. They were there for me. They sat up with me crying when I was mad at this man and tried to run him over with my car. Sorry, some stuff came out. Let me go back.
Yeah, right.
Let me stop. Let me stop. But I think that's where there's a lot of confusion, right? So a lot of times we just need clarity. You can be grateful for someone, but you don't have to be obligated to them because they were
Right.
there for you in that season, right? You can be grateful for what you shared together and still recognize that we're not meant to walk every single chapter together. Right? Sometimes
Right.
we need to do things on our own. We have to grow individually so that we can be better as a unit, right? So we can be stronger together. So also just realizing that you're not, there's no obligation there unless we got a contract. You got to
You
be
said a
legally locked
contract.
up. I remember when I used to watch
Right.
Housewives. Remember when on Atlanta, I think what's her name, Cynthia had Nene Leak sign
Mhm.
a friendship contract.
Oh my
That was like
God.
a whole big
Not a
thing
friendship
way
contract.
back when. So yeah, and that's one of the shows I stopped watching because it was toxic. But I'm gonna lock you down. See, I'm gonna have you sign.
A friendship
Uh-uh.
contract,
We go
girl.
together real bad. You're not allowed to leave. Stand on it.
That's crazy. You need a friendship contract. That's sad.
Look, nowadays, I don't know. You might need. Oh, maybe,
Well, I
maybe.
mean, the world is a crazy place now. Who would have thought? You never know. Maybe one day in the future we might need friendship contracts.
Now, growth is not betrayal. Growing is not betrayal. You know,
No, it's not. It's definitely not.
yes, and boundaries are definitely healthy. So don't give that up. You can love somebody without giving everybody unlimited access to you.
Yes, of course, definitely, for sure. Shantella, what would you tell someone that's feeling lonely because they're changed or because God is changing their circle?
You know, sometimes we got to be isolated because we have too many other voices distracting us that we can't hear what God is trying to tell us. So that season of
Hmm.
isolation that you in, it's just temporary. It's not gonna last always. I feel like I'm quoting Color Purple. It's not gonna last always.
No,
The
it's not going to last
sun come out
always. No, no, no.
tomorrow. This is what happens when I had caffeine. I am so unserious when I drink coffee in the morning. So bad. But no,
Oh,
literally,
goodness.
just like I said, it's just, this is temporary. You do not have to live this life alone. And I know I ain't alone because God is with me always. He got my back. I can talk to
Yes.
him. I'm struggling. Sometimes he removes certain people from your life or removes jobs. He removes certain activities, certain things that's going on in your life because you're moving down the wrong path and you asked him for help, right? He's like, God, I don't know what I'm doing. I need help. And then you confuse when he takes away the things that's caused you to go down the wrong path because you need to reset because you're letting those things influence you too much, right? So sometimes we
Hmm.
need that isolation to realize who we really are so that we can become stronger and those things when they come back, because it's going to cycle back around. When they come back, they won't be the distraction that it once was.
Yes, yes. And I mean, he didn't bring you this far to leave you.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes separation is a form of protection. So that's something that, sometimes it hurts to lose people or to be separated from people, but sometimes that separation is protection.
Yes, yes. So we got a comment from Queen Harry in the chat. Let me see if I can pull it up because I've been seeing some comments pop up.
Okay.
I have Tanisha. She says having a positive network in your life is important. Yes, Queen, it definitely
Yes, it
is.
is. It definitely is, Queen.
Especially when you're going through a hard season and you can't see the other way out. Sometimes it be one person that just come in
Yes.
and you on your last leg and they just come in, they just pray for you, pray over you, scream with you. You be like, man, Grant, I didn't know what it was, but you made me see. It don't have to be over yet.
Right.
Okay, we got Michelle Ramos with my best friend Deborah, life
That's
situation,
from
and my
Deborah.
Nove team. Let's go, Queen.
Let's go, Queen.
Yes, yes. Okay, I'm still checking the chat. Oh, so Carmen said for the people at her table, she wants her dad, her maternal grandmother, and Michelle Obama. Okay.
Michelle Obama. I know that's right. She said, Michelle Obama. Okay.
Yes. A part of me wants to have a conversation with Bernie Mac because that man was crazy and hilarious.
He was. He was. He was. He died so young.
Yes, yes. All right. So I think that's all the comments for now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Carmen said, I think this was in reference to feeling
That's a good
guilty.
question.
She said, I never felt
Or a
guilty or
certain way
scornful.
about separating myself.
Go ahead, Queen. You can read it.
I know that's right.
She said she never felt guilty or a certain way about separating herself from people. She just moved on. All right, Queen. She's like, look, ain't nobody got time for that. It's what I just heard
Just
in my
moving
head
on,
from that
moving right
comment.
along.
Yes, and we got it won't always be like this when you're in that season and you're feeling lonely and don't see another way out. It won't always be like this. Ms. Harriet said, I believe some people in our lives are here for a season, and when the season is over, it's time to move on. Wish them well, but we're moving on in different paths. Amen, Queen.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes. So I think another part of that is, sometimes you gotta separate to elevate. God gonna separate you to elevate. So realizing that as well too. And your new level sometimes requires a new environment as well. So he's prepping you. Even rejection, like C said, can be protection as well.
Hmm.
But who motivates you, everybody? This is something that, you know, you can really ask yourself. If you're doing this, the audit of your circle, because we talked about this earlier in the live, you know,
Oh
if
yeah.
it's time to audit your circle, these are some questions you can kind of ask yourself, right? Who motivates you? Who is draining your energy?
That's a good one. Who's draining your energy?
Who is celebrating your
Whew.
success? Right? Are they excited for you when you are winning? You're in your winning season. Who only calls when they need something? Right?
Mm,
Who speaks life into your dreams? Who is challenging you to become better? That's my main thing. Look, we all getting together. You gotta don't let me be stagnant. Don't let me, because
no.
I got potential.
I know that's right, Queen. I got potential
I
and,
got
and
potential.
and it's limitless. So we're
Yes,
not gonna be stagnant. We're gonna keep moving and keep growing.
absolutely. So ask yourself these questions again. Who motivates you? Who's draining your energy? Who's celebrating your success? Who only calls when they need something? Like, dang,
Mm,
friend.
yeah. Hey
Can
friend.
we talk about building a business? Why we always you gotta call me because you need $20. Who's doing that? Who speaks life into your dreams and who is challenging you to become better? Ask yourself those questions. So, you don't have to cut everybody off, is one of the things I also say. But everyone doesn't also deserve those front row seats to your future. So you might not have to cut them off. I know we'd be like, wait, whack. We'd be like, you get blocked and you get blocked. You know, Again, they might,
Yes,
might
yes,
just
yes.
might be in a different season of their life where they can't show up for you the way you want them to. But because they're in that season doesn't mean that we have to be judgy of them, that we have to cut them off. Sometimes we just can't have them up front with us while we're growing. Sometimes they got to go to the back until they're ready themselves to volunteer to move forward. That's how I kind of look at things. What you got to say, C? What's on your mind?
Oh, nothing, just I was just thinking about some of those questions, like those are some very valid questions, like who's draining your energy. You know, we got to think about those things because,
I
we've been
gotta
talking
sip
about a
some.
lot of positive things and who's motivating you and this, that, and the third. But I never thought about like what things are draining my energy because, some of those things, if we cut those out, that might relieve some of that stress that we got going on. So
Hmm.
it's always good to talk to people. I love being able to bounce ideas off of Chantella, off of Bossy, or, off of my friend Serena. When you have people in your circle that want to see you grow, want to see you elevate, and they want to elevate themselves, the things that you guys can come up with are limitless. And then I just would say one thing that I would take away from this episode is just knowing that it's okay for your circle to change. It doesn't always have to stay the same.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. I mean, I've blocked some people who just couldn't get it together. I don't hate them.
She said,
I'm
"I'll
not mad
block
at
some
them.
people."
You know, I have blocked some people that couldn't get together. I'm not mad at them. There's no hatred in my heart for them. It's just again, they can't be upfront right now. They haven't volunteered yet to come forward to be a part of the growth. And it might not happen in this lifetime. I am acceptance. I think a part of this too is acceptance of who people are and that it's
Mm,
okay if they can't change and grow with you. Right? You don't have to have no hard feelings in you towards them. You just got to keep on doing what you need to do to
yes,
better your
accepting people
life.
for who they are, not who we want them to be.
Yes. So I will also say type one word in the chat, that describes the kind of circle that you're currently building, right? What's one word?
Mm,
Um, are you building up your faith circle, right? Are you trying to get around
faith.
people who are strong in their faith so that you can also grow yours? Because sometimes we need to be in a season where we know we're lacking in certain aspects in our life and we want to get
Mhm.
around people who exude that or are working on exuding that so that we can also grow in that area where we feel like there's lack. So, is are you growing your faith circle? Are you focusing on peace, right? In this season, you know, are you looking for what your purpose is in life? Maybe that's something that you're working towards and you want to get around and see where your spirit is called to be aligned. Are you
Mhm.
working on building your career, your business? You trying to get around other mentors and coaches to help you build your wealth? Are you focusing on wisdom, right? And you lacking wisdom in your life? Open up that Bible. That's gonna give you a lot of wisdom.
Yes, it will.
Are you
Yes.
building a legacy? Right? Is legacy in your future? Or are you just working on overall growth? So these are some things that if who are you surrounding yourself with that's going to help you grow in these different areas?
Yes.
I just saw something pop up here.
You saw something pop up.
Yeah, I have. Here we go. So Nay said, I'm working on a positive and peaceful
Peaceful
circle.
circle. Let's go, Queen. Positive and peace. Honey, peace is everything.
All right.
I
So,
see Monica Brown. She says she's faith is her word.
yes, yes. All right. So, another question, too. Who's sitting at your
Mm.
financial table? Because,
Mm.
this is tips and peace. So, we got to talk about finances a little bit.
Yes.
So ask yourself, if you constantly around people who spend a lot of money, if everyone around you is talking about spending, shopping, going on trips, you probably doing the same thing.
Yes, that's true. But
Are
if
you
everyone around you is, talking about investing, building a business, saving money, creating legacy, eventually you'll start thinking that way and your thoughts will begin to change too. Who do you call for advice? You know, who's someone that someone who complains about money or someone who invests and owns, so we don't want to be with people that complain about money. We want to be around people that are owning businesses, investing, solving problems, and encouraging growth. What is one financial conversation you wish happened more often? That's a question for the audience. What is one financial conversation that you wish happened a little bit more often in families?
yeah, investing. I wish that was a topic that was more prevalent in our communities. How to really
Yes.
invest. Right? We
Yeah.
should talk about that more. But I'm just gonna go back to that question that you asked because that was a pretty good question. And I think we kind of just breezed over that a little bit too fast
What?
because
What?
teacher asks, who are you going to for advice? We need that to
Mhm.
sink in. Who are you talking to and asking for advice? Are you going to that person who's always complaining about money or always having issues, right? Or are you connecting with people or individual that's on something different, that's investing, that owns businesses, that's building wealth, that's solving problems? Who you getting advice from?
Yes. Who are you getting that
And if,
advice from?
and if you wonder why you stuck and you can't figure things out, you might need to look at that too. Because it started with you. Because you chose to go to that person who in the same boat or in a worse boat than you is and ask them for advice.
Yes. And
So that's the
sometimes
part of
we
it
just
too.
have to protect our peace. Sometimes growth is going to require new boundaries for us. Sometimes you have to say no. You can't always be a yes person. Also, too, we need new conversations with new people. Just like Shantella said, you know, who are we going to talk to? Are we going to get advice from the person that's always complaining, that always has money issues? Or are we going to get advice from someone that's investing, someone that owns businesses, someone that's doing something positive with their life and positive with their money, someone that's creating legacy? And also, something that I have found is very valuable is having a mentor,
Yeah.
having someone that you can talk to, someone that can help you when you're trying to make a decision, different things like that. Having a mentor is very valuable and something that you might want to add to your circle.
Mm-hmm.
And also, we've talked about this before, but sometimes, we've got to start being accountable for our actions and the things that we're doing. Not everyone can go where God is taking you. So we need to make sure that we are doing our due diligence, because sometimes that assignment will change, and sometimes the seating chart will have to be rearranged, and sometimes the person that you had riding in your passenger might have to move to that back seat.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean
That's
we love them any differently, but they just may not be ready for the passenger seat. What's that new
that's
term? They may not be a passenger princess. Is that the new term for the pretty girls riding in the car? Passenger princess.
I always wanted to drive, so I don't even know.
I feel you, hon. I feel you. I want to be behind the wheel myself.
I don't get car sick. Well, that's some good points that C made. Really taking a look at, you know, what new boundaries you need to set, new conversations you need to have. But recognizing red flags when they're sitting right there at your table and smacking
Mm.
you in the face as well, because some red flags ain't quiet. They've been smacking you for a long time, but you just been taking it. So realizing, are you gossiping more than you're growing? Are you competing instead of collaborating? You know, are you getting around people who are discouraging your dreams, telling you can't do something? Sometimes people are just uncomfortable. I was told that, why are you moving to Mexico? I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think you should go. It was just concerns. It was coming from a different place for them. I don't think it was ill intent. But now I come back around, they're like, oh, you glowing, you're shining, you look so at peace.
Love it, love it, love it.
Sometimes you can't let other people's fear cover
Hmm.
you as well and make you fearful of growing, right? And it might not even be coming from an ill intent place. They don't know because they never experienced or they haven't had the thought yet to want something like that for themselves. So nothing wrong with that, but just evaluating that. Don't let that discourage you from your dreams. They celebrate your failures, right? They there at the table when you failing and telling you I told you so, or why would you do that, right? Versus being there when you celebrate. Where are you now, right? Are they only calling you when they need something? Are they constantly draining your peace?
Hmm.
So those are just some of the red flags. So what's the most important piece in your circle? We talked about this a little bit. Is it loyalty, honesty, accountability, or faith? Oh, there's multiple choice. So everybody, what is the most important part in your circle? Is it A, loyalty, B, honesty, C, accountability, or D, faith? And you can comment A, B, C, or D.
Or can we have all the above?
Look. Well, we only got to pick one.
Right. Oh goodness. Yeah, I would definitely I want all of them. All of them. All of them. But here's a
Yeah.
little no secret. Research has shown that our habits, including spending, saving, career goals, and confidence, are heavily influenced by people that we spend the most of our time around. That is an interesting fact. I'm going to read that again. Research shows that our habits, including our spending habits, saving, career goals, and our confidence, are heavily influenced by the people we spend the most time around. So think about that. Who is in your circle? Success is going to leave clues, and so does struggle. Choose your environment wisely. We all have a choice, ladies and gentlemen.
We do. I think more people
And
need
we
to
have a
embrace
weekly
their
challenge for you
choice.
guys. I'm sorry, Queen, what'd you say?
I said more people need to start embracing the fact that they have a choice.
Yes, we do have a choice. Yes, yes, yes. And we need to embrace that. But we do have a weekly challenge for you guys. We want you to reach out to one mentor, invite someone inspiring to coffee or lunch, pray over your circle, join one room where people are growing, and evaluate who deserves a permanent seat at your table.
All right. Well, see, just
Hmm.
finish this sentence for me real quick. A queen's table shall always have room for what?
A queen's table should always have room for, I'm going to say more.
Fill in the blank.
What about you, Queen?
Amen to
Let me
that.
see. I have a question for you. Finish this sentence. The one person I refuse to let sit at my table is because
The old me.
a
The old me, because she was a struggling and she had blinders on. Let me tell you. I've outgrown that version of me. So the old me can't sit here no more.
yes, yes, yes.
All right. Well, it is at the top of the hour, everybody. And the Queen's got things to
Yes, we
do. So
do.
definitely wanted to say, remember, remember everybody, your future isn't determined only by what you know. It's also influenced by who you choose to walk with, right? So make sure you're being intentional about who's speaking into your faith, your finances, your family, your business, and your purpose. And I know C had to jump off because she had to get logged in here. So I'm just going to do the closing prayer for her. So, Father God, thank you for every person watching today. We ask that you give us wisdom to recognize the relationships you've assigned to our lives and the courage to release those that no longer align with your purpose. Surround us with people who sharpen us, encourage us, challenge us, and celebrate your calling, your place on our lives. Help us build circles coded in faith, integrity, accountability, peace, and love. We declare that we are building queendoms and kingdoms out here, that creating generational wealth, walking in purpose, and protecting our peace. We refuse to settle for tables where we have to shrink to fit in. Instead, we will build tables where purpose, prosperity, and wisdom and legacy can flourish. In Jesus' name, amen, everybody. Amen. So if today's conversation did bless you, don't keep it to yourself because we are not gatekeepers here on Tips and Tea. So make sure you like, share, and tag another queen who needs this message. And if you're looking for a community or just want to get into a place where you can be more committed to faith, you want to have some financial freedom and building a legacy, we'd love to connect with you. Definitely feel free to drop in the chat if you want us to reach out to you directly or just send us a direct message. But thank you again, everybody, for joining us on Tips and Tea Live. Remember, the queens, your circle is your, remember, queens and kings, your circle is your currency. Be intentional about who's sitting at your table because your next level may already be one conversation away. So we'll see you all next Tuesday, everybody, on Tips and Tea. Love you all. Many blessings,
Bye. Everybody have a
everybody.
blessed
Many
Tuesday.